Martens, one second. While we do this, I'm going to introduce Mr. Martens. Pat Martens with the Bridge Preservation Inspection Services Company, and we're thankful to have him here and lucky to have him here. He's going to speak on concrete bridge deck resource and the resource guide. So,
okay, good afternoon. Happy to be here today to talk to you a little bit about something that the National Bridge Deck Preservation Working Group has been working on. We have a deliverable here that we wanted to just kind of make you aware of. We had this published last year, so since we hadn't had a chance to have a meeting, we thought this would be a good time to be able to share with you just what this document is that we've put together here. I wanted to introduce kind of the team that worked on this particular document. Sarah Sondag is a co-chair of the National Bridge Deck Preservation Working Group. And actually, she's here today somewhere out here. So she's with she's also chair of the Midwest Bridge Partnership. So if you see her here, you might say hi to her and thank her for coming and thank her for her service to the partnership. And I also serve as co-chair on that particular working group. We have Stephen Austin out of the Southeast. He's with TxDOT. And he is the immediate past chair of this deck preservation working group. And then Andy Nanneman, also in the Southeast, he's with the Arkansas DOT. So that kind of comprised our core group that worked on this particular document here. I do want to mention too that we did send this out to all the regional partnerships after we got our draft put together to solicit comments back from the different regions. And we appreciate the comments we received. Also want to thank those in the Northeast in particular who were very instrumental, especially with the asphalt and membrane overlay section, because it seems like this Northeast area has several states that do use the asphalt and membrane, and it wasn't quite as familiar to us working on the document. And then also the construction quality group offered some information to us as well. So those were all welcome resources that we were able to use to put into the document. Just wanted to kind of show you where it's at out there. So some of this stuff can be hard to find out on the website, but this is out on the TSP2 website now. So if you go out there and look for the Bridge Preservation tab and click on that, and that'll bring you up to the home page then for the Bridge Preservation section. And then what you want to do is you want to hover over where it says Technical, and that'll give you a drop-down menu there, and Deck and Joints is where you want to click to access this particular document. So when you click on that, you'll get an index that's built for the Deck and Joint section there. And the second one down refers to Bridge Deck Preservation Guidance. And then the second kind of link there is the Concrete Bridge Deck Preservation Resource Guide document itself. So you can also just kind of scroll down through the whole index, and when you get down to the bottom, you'll see the document is there. So then you can hit the download there, and that'll open up the document for you. So looks like this was published July 15th, so exactly 11 months ago. Now, the thing about this document, when we first started out working with this document, it looked like it was going to be fairly extensive and long. And the team started to look at this and thought, you know what, we can't have this monstrosity of a document out there, because if we have just a gigantic novel out there, nobody's going to read this thing. So we kind of had to make a determination that we needed to kind of make it more concise, more high level. So that's kind of what we did in the structure of the document here. So I know this is going to be kind of hard to read, and that's okay. It's not important that you're able to read this. It's just kind of give you an idea of the layout of the document here. Basically, we have the table of contents, and we have an introductory section, and then we have the activities that are built within the preservation section here. So this first part here, we've got 4 areas right at the beginning of the document, and that serves to give us the purpose and the audience that this particular document is directed towards. And then a few other things with regard to just the importance of deck preservation, then the impact that construction quality has on that particular task, and then also bridge deck assessment is mentioned within the document. So just to kind of show you, this is kind of the introductory portion of the document, and we kept these sections very short and concise, just limited basically to like 3 or 4 sentences, just to keep it clean and not get too long-winded on it. So this introductory portion is basically on the first page. You have the purpose and the audience. And essentially what we're looking for with this particular document, it's not something very detailed. It's very high level. And the idea is we wanted to direct this document just to those who are newer to bridge preservation, and also just provide just basic information for those people reading the document. So a lot of you out there, this may not really apply to you because you've been around the process and the products and things for quite a while. So this may not be as relevant to you, but it may be something that you might want to direct your new hires, or maybe local agencies, or people that are just starting to learn about bridge deck preservation. It's a tool that they can use to hopefully gain some information here. Same thing, importance of bridge deck preservation. There's a lot of different analogies we make with how bridge preservation acts in the field, and sometimes you'll hear it talked about as far as being like your car, keeping up with maintenance. We kind of chose to use the analogy of a roof, where it's a structural component, but it also is basically protecting your underlying elements. So you can even kind of look at the shingles as kind of like a wearing surface maybe. So that's kind of the analogy we kind of drew from, just to kind of use that analogy as far as the importance of deck preservation. And then also the construction quality group really suggested this portion that we add something in about the impact that construction quality has with this process. So we have a few sentences that are kind of devoted to that. And then we do get into deck condition assessment a little bit, not in a lot of detail, just high level. And we're looking at, we got a chart here that we've included within the document that talks about, what are predominant strategies you can use with regard to your bridge decks based on the condition of that particular deck. And then what are some of the activities that may correlate to that particular condition rating. And then likewise, with your element level inspections that you do out there now, you can take that information and you might be able to use that information to, kind of build your maintenance process there, your preservation process. So this gets us down to the actual deck preservation actions that we put into this particular document. Kind of like Justin's slide he had up there, we kind of show this flow chart here with the bridge asset management and how preservation maintenance is kind of tied in with cyclical and condition-based conditions out there. So these are the particular activities that we've included in this manual. Kind of starts out with the flushing, washing of the bridge deck, move into the sealing, be it total surface or individual crack sealing type operations. We did include a section on small movement joint maintenance here. We thought that was an important topic to include with this because the breakdown of those joints, or those deck joints there, can affect the condition of the deck as well. And then we get into bridge deck repair and the thin polymers, and then we go into the epoxies and polyester overlays. We include cementitious concrete overlays, and then the asphalt and membrane systems out there. So for each of these sections, what we did is we developed a short template, and that would include, first of all, just what is the description of the activity that we're trying to describe here, the benefit of doing this particular action, and then what are some best practices associated with it. And then we included a section for some resources that you could follow up for additional information. Since this is going to be fairly high level, giving you the resources then would allow you to go and dig deeper into the particular area you want to know more about. So we also felt it was important to keep this to like 1 page per activity. Again, we didn't want it to get drawn out into multiple pages and have the reader lose focus on it. So we wanted to keep it as short and concise as we could, as just a high-level overview of it. So you can kind of see what a particular page looks like. This just happens to be the deck flushing page, the first one that we have. So we have a description of what that activity is, and then the benefits. And again, these are just a couple sentences in each of the sections. And then we do have some bullets that relate to what are some best practices that you might be able to implement in performing the particular activity here. And then the last section is just some of the resources that you might be able to go and find. And you can click on those links there, so it should be interactive, where if you click on that, it'll pull up the particular document that you're looking for. Like I said, we did include the small movement joint maintenance here, so that one does have an additional page in it. But what it does is it identifies the various types of small movement joints out there, and then some of the typical failure modes that might be associated with those particular joints. And then we also realized that there are some other techniques and processes that you can use on bridge decks for preservation. So we included another just small section there that included some of these actions that you might take, and that includes things like cathodic protection, chloride extraction, joint elimination, such as link slabs. Those are becoming pretty popular methods of attacking our bridge deck issues as well. And then at the very end of the document, this document's I think it's about 22 pages long. The last 5 pages, I think, are devoted to just some more resources and reference materials out there that the user can take a look at. So there's some general references regarding preservation of decks, and then there's also some additional references for each of the activities that we've included in the document. Just as a kind of a disclaimer, we wanted to put in there that this is not a specification or a regulation or anything like that. It's strictly just out there for the intended purpose of resource material for the user. It's not necessarily endorsed by TSP2 or AASHTO. Also wanted to mention too that as far as other deliverables with regard to the working group that we're with, there's currently a study going on with sealers. So that should be, that's happening concurrently right now. Also wanted to mention that this particular document, it's meant to be a live document, so it is something we can continue to update and work with. As more information becomes available or we feel needs to be inserted into the document, we have the ability to go ahead and continue to update this document. And we also have the ability to delve deeper into the specific activities. Like I said, this is very high level, so now if we can find champions out there that want to take a particular section of that document and do a deeper dive into that, that would be a good thing for our group to kind of work with, I think, out there. One of the things we've already seen as a benefit since we've developed this document is we put together a sub-working group for rigid cementitious concrete overlays with the purpose of developing a pocket guide. And that we had a team work on that here within the last year, and we were able to actually submit that to the expert task group here in May. So hopefully that one will be wrapping up pretty soon, and we'll be able to get it out onto the TSP2 website. So that's a little bit about what's going on in the working group and with regard to our resource document here. So I guess with that, if there would be any questions, I could try to entertain those. All right, thank you for your time.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.